Hey Lamau, what's up guys? Bringing you another GPL video for week 2. This week I'm facing Dolphin, and he has a pretty scary and threatening team. He has Galar Darmanitan, Mega Infernape, which gets the ability Infiltrator, Sheer Force Slanderous Eye, Manaphy, Alomuck, Araquanid, Comfy, Cursula, Metagross, Dragazolt, and Miltank. So very threatening and scary team. The way I built around this is I kind of just had pivots as well as things that can semi-check his more offensive threats. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to bring Mega Torterra this week because he has a Galar, Mega Infernape, Ice Beam, Manaphy, and a bunch of other threats that I considered would be too hurtful for my team if I did decide to bring Mega Torterra in place of another Mon. So that's unfortunately why we couldn't bring it this week, but we are bringing some threats. We're bringing some threats. So we got Dragazolt, or not Dragazolt, we got DragaPult here with Dragon Dance, Dragon Darts, Phantom Force, and the Sucker Punch. So we got the Power Herb. So Phantom Force isn't a 2-turn move this turn. I think we have enough health to live Comfy's Draining Kiss. So we do have that. Sucker Punch for priority in case he has like Shadow Sneak on Muck and we couldn't KO that for some reason. Yeah, Sucker Punch also for Metagross's Bullet Punch, and just for things in general that could be Scarf it when we didn't have a chance to get off a Dragon Dance. That's why we're rocking with DragaPult. Next up we have the Pex, the Toxapex. Our savior itself with Toxic Spikes, Liquidation, Recover, Haze. Pretty standard. Toxic Spikes obviously gonna do a lot to his team if I can get rid of that Alolan Muck, and Liquidation just allows me to hit things harder than I normally would with Scald. Unfortunately, I made a mistake this week and accidentally brought Bold Toxapex with Liquidation. Originally I had Scald, and I guess I must have forgotten to change it to Impish. So now Liquidation is going to be doing less than Scald would be doing, and that kind of sucks for me, but that's okay. Not the biggest mistake I could have made in prep, but it's definitely sad to see. Definitely sad to see. Next up, we do get the Choice Scarf. Gothitelle. This basically allows me to trap Infernape. It allows me to trap things like Dragazolt if it's not Scarf, Lander's Eye, and Manaphy if it decides to want to set up. Manaphy can't beat me locked into one move, so if he does go for a tail glow and I go into Gothitelle and I trick it, he'll either be locked into Surf, Psychic, or Energy Ball or whatnot, and based on what he locked himself into, he cannot beat Toxapex and DragaPult. So that's the idea behind that. Again, Manaphy is very threatening versus my team, so hopefully he doesn't bring it, but who knows. Next up we do have the Crocodile. Stealth Rock, Knockoff, Earthquake Pursuit, kind of the same set as we were at last week. Just another check for the more offensive threats he has on his team. Mainly Dragazolt. Dragazolt is a huge threat versus me, especially because it can sub up on things like Toxapex and basically do whatever it wants and claim a kill in that regard. So definitely very scared about that. Crocodile is allowed Pursuit in this generation because that is how this league works, and that we can use previously learned moves from prior generations. So Pursuit, Hidden Power, that sort of thing is allowed. But yeah, pretty self-explanatory there. Next up we got Light Bolt, Tornadus Therian. So this is a pretty, I'm sure you guys are wondering why I'm bringing the Light Ball, but it's a pretty heat set with a Fling Acro. So Light Ball, when it's flung, basically paralyzes the opponent. I didn't really know what item I wanted to run on Tornadus this week. There wasn't really anything that stood out to me as particularly good. I mean, there was Rocky Helmet, but I wanted something that could help me paralyze things like Manaphy and things like Mega Infernape if those things decide to be too big of an issue. So in that regard, I could also run Physical, and Physical Torn with Acro actually just, at least to me in prep, seemed to do a lot more than Special would. So that's why we're rocking Fling, Acro, U-Turn. We're rocking Defog because I don't want webs to necessarily be up if I can get rid of them. But yeah. And then last but not least, we're bringing Scizor again. This time, instead of Bandit, we're bringing Akaberry, Swords Dance, Quick Attack, Bullet Punch, Roost. Quick Attack is for the Infernape, and then Bullet Punch is pretty much for everything else. And then Roost allows me to basically roost up on things like Galar when it's not locked into Flare Blitz. Allows me to take a hit from like Hidden Power Fire, Manaphy, Hidden Power Fire, Lando Eye. So yeah, that's why we're rocking pretty much max HP, max attack. But yeah, with that being said, let's just hop right into the match. So he does end up bringing Comfey, Lander's Eye, Gallowdarm, Alolan Muck, Araquanid, and Infernape. Pretty big threats all around, but thankfully I see no Manaphy, so that's pretty fantastic for me. But yeah, let's just get right into the game. So I decided to leave Tornadus, thinking maybe I can fling something. If he didn't lead Gallowdarm, I would just fling right off the bat. But he does lead Gallowdarm, and because I'm fearing the Choice Scarf, I will switch out, as he just goes for the U-turn, so good protection on his part. He does go into Landers. We are Shuckleberry, I think, but I don't want to break that just yet, so I go into Torn. And he does double out into the Gallowdarm, so I'm like, okay, well now I gotta switch right back into Toxapex, so he just U-turns. So a good play on his part. He goes into Landers here, and at this point I'm just gonna go right back into Tornadus. He goes for Hidden Power Ice, and I'm not sure if that... I mean, it's a good play, right? But if you're predicting Tornadus, but I think Earth Power was probably a safer bet, especially if I had stayed in and revealed like the Shuckleberry. I could have gotten off a lot more damage on Lando, which put it in range of like potentially Scizor or DragaPult. So not sure about this play, but that sort of damage leads me to believe it's a 2 KO versus anything. He's not Life Orb, so that means that things like Sludge Wave are not going to be killing me next turn or the turn after. Well, because I'll U-turn. But yeah, so I'm just going to go for Fling here, get that thing paralyzed, help out Crook and help out DragaPult, but he crits me. And I was able to live another Sludge Wave. So unfortunately that crit did matter. But I can now go into Gothitelle, trap that thing, and go for a Hidden Power Ice. He does reveal to be Yachi Berry, but gets paralyzed, so I guess that's some retribution or justice for the crit. But now I can go into Araquanid, pretty much get up his Sticky Webs. I know he's going to get up Sticky Webs, so I go into DragaPult because, again, DragaPults intend to be a Dragon Dance sweeper. And if Webs were on the field, it'd become a bit more difficult for DragaPult to end up sweeping. So I do go for the Dragon Dance here, as him going straight into Alolan Muck leads me to believe that he can take Dragon Darts. And he does have an interesting berry, but he actually goes for Ice Punch here, and that kind of surprised me because I'm pretty sure Knockoff would have killed me. But I'm not complaining. I do have the Sucker Punch, so in case he wants to go for Shadow Sneak right now, I am able to just kill that thing off with the Sucker Punch. Now I can go into Comfey. Pretty much know he's going to Draining Kiss, so I go right back into Gothitelle. As he actually doubles into Darmanitan, which kind of really surprised me because I don't think he had any reason necessarily not to Draining Kiss there. I guess he thought I was going into Pex, but even then, I think if I had stayed in and decided to sack this thing off, the game would have instantly been won because I was Power Herb Phantom Force. Again, Draining Kiss, though, was very predictable, so I can understand why he would want to make a double to try and gain back momentum, but he does go into Darm. And so that was a good play, I guess, if he was protecting me and then going to Gothitelle or something. I do end up sacking Gothitelle here. Gothitelle at this point wasn't really necessary. I was Choice Scarf. I mean, the best I could do was trap Comfey and trick it a Choice Scarf. But really, at this point, Scizor and Toxapex kind of easily dealt with it. And if he wanted to lock himself into Earthquake, because at this point I'm thinking he's Scarf. If he wanted to lock himself into Earthquake, Toxapex's Shuckleberry would be broken. And I didn't want that to be a factor in case his Mega Infernape also had Shuckleberry, so I wanted to preserve that for as long as possible. And yeah, so as I Gothitelle here to U-turn, and he goes to go into Araquanid, but that basically frees me up to go into Toxapex, and now I can get up my Toxic Spikes. And at that point, it's pretty much just game over. I can get up as many layers as I want pretty much at this point, and by having Toxic Spikes on the field, I'm basically able to wall most, if not all, things and prevent Comfey from winning with Calm Mind, Leech Seed, etc. So, or like Calm Mind Taunt. But yeah, he does continue to go for the Liquidation, as I'm just going to recover here. Again, Comfey can't really beat me, and I am Aquaberry on Scizor, so I can pretty much do whatever. He does go into Darmanitan here, as I just double into Scizor. Really, no reason not to. I can just Bullet Punch here and kill that. If he went for Hidden Power Fire, again, even if he was like modest Life Orb, I would have lived because I'm Aquaberry, and I also would have lived Draining Kiss after because I am max HP. So, able to get rid of that. Infernape comes in, and I still want to preserve that, so I go into Toxapex. He does go for the Bulk Up. I am able to live an Earthquake even if he went for Swords Dance because I am Shuckleberry, mostly defensive. So at this point, I'm able to just haze and get rid of his attack and defense boost, and haze and recover basically. So I actually go Crocodile here because I want Stealth Rocks up, and because by getting the Intimidate on, I know he can't really beat Toxapex and Crook one-on-one, even if he's like Rest Talk or Slack Off. So now I go into DragaPult, sack that thing off. Pretty useless for me at this point. Can't really do anything else to the other 3 members. I can go into Crook here, and because the attack is lowered and because I'm max defense, I can basically freely get up my rocks, and that helps put pressure, or it helps put more pressure on the Mega Infernape. So it goes back into Mega Infernape as I double back into Scizor, and at this point, Quick Attack is a roll to kill. I don't really want to risk it, so I go back into Crocodile because that's the more useless Mon compared to Scizor. So he goes for Earthquake here and doesn't really do anything, as I believe I just stay in. I mean, there's no point not to. I live a close combat. I live pretty much every hit. So that thing's taken care of. And now he goes into the Araquanid, and I preserve Crocodile just to preserve a 3-0 differential, as basically now I'm just going to stall it out of, or not stall it out, but wait for Toxic to pretty much put an end to the Araquanid. But now I go right back into Scizor as he goes for Calm Mind, because I don't want to mess with any taunt with Aromatherapy shenanigans. So I go into Scizor as he goes for Draining Kiss, and I just finish the game off with a Bullet Punch. Well, almost finished the game off with the Bullet Punch, and then Toxic pretty much finishes off the Comfy. But yeah, I mean, pretty clean game overall, besides the paralyzed Lando and the crit on Torn. But other than that, definitely good game to Dolphin. Was very glad not to see the Manaphy. That thing could have been a threat. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for watching my week 2 match. And for my week 3 match, I actually did it live comp, so that video is going to be a lot longer than most of my videos. But yeah, with that being said, thanks again for watching, and see you guys next time. Peace.